Can we pick it up with you, like how you find individual? Like we talk a lot about this. Like everybody has power, right? A personal, individualized power. Um, what I'm hearing you say is like for you, it's just like I just got to do music, man. You know, I got to wake up and practicing. You just got to plug in somehow, whether it's picking up your food or writing or whatever it is, because that's your purpose. That's your calling in this life, right? And that's what it sounds like. I don't know if anybody wants to like jump in there, but that's I would love to like go down that path for a minute or do
Yeah,
that.
the intent behind our podcast is to one share stories, of how people find their power, or when something is so tough, or how we come back from challenges, right? So you have this power, and that comes from music. But if someone didn't have music, where can they find that? Like, what is it that's
Right.
inside of us that you
Totally right.
yeah, right. So, I mean, I have my own
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Luis has his own way of finding his that power. So share with us how you find your power when you don't want to do something.
Ah,
It's not a test.
man.
Like, what do you do
No,
when you're just like not
because
inspired? You're like the flute. I want to break the flute or whatever it is. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, because I do have to do other stuff. Like don't think then okay. I love music and I drive because of it, but I love other things. I love martial arts. I love my to hang out with my jiu-jitsu friends. I love um, um, I love being with friends. For instance, when you guys come to Mexico, I love to go eat
Yeah.
with you guys or hang out. But when things get really really hard, yes, music is a great vehicle, and 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 uh, and fitness and martial arts help me to keep that going, to keep the engine going, to keep the exactly. Uh, uh, but I think the most important thing for me to actually get up on those moments where even when I have a concert coming up and it's not going to happen until I grab what I have with my family. For me, my family and is what really drives me. Like my parents, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my direct family. That those people then saw me grow up, or I saw them grow up. For instance, because I'm older than my brother and my sister, both of my siblings, and the relationship that I have with them, and trying to remembering remember their childhood, or remembering the struggles that they did, our parents made for us to do what we do, you know, and on to get to do. I mean, to give us a pat, etc., etc. I think for me that's the most important thing, and they're really the really the electricity on the engine that really gets it going. You know,
Yeah.
for me that's more important. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like, right? So you,
Wow.
yes, you love a lot of things, and that's how you stay like really elevated. What I
Inspired.
mean by that is like your high energy and your enthusiasm is because you found all these things that you love, and you tap in, and you cling into it, and you like get really good at it. And when you don't feel so good, you dig for, well, you look into what you really truly care for, right? And you nurture that. And I think
That's interesting.
that's a great
Beautiful.
tool,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
sometimes we forget, like, what do I really love? Like,
Yeah.
how can I get out of this rut? How do I like change my mindset? You know?
Yeah.
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 You know what? Also, I'm sorry to cut you off, Luis. You know what? Also, I mean, really helps. Like, I grew up with a single mother. My mother didn't found my stepdad until I turned 15, I think. And my grandmother was a single mother. My mom was a single mother then. So from all my childhood up to first year of high school, I was coming from a single mother home. The male figures I had, they were at the ranch with my great granddad, or when I used to go work with my granddad at the mill, or every time I hang out with the guys on the horses, you know. Uh, but I remember how my mother went to psychology school, work full time at the hospital at the ER, and then come up extremely tired. I know I saw her, and then um, uh, uh, be a mother, try to be a parent, do homework with me or something like that, or and I think for if you have that standard of badassiness, of being such a yeah, exactly. You have no excuse.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
exactly.
But I think also
Yeah.
because you notice it, and we call it consciousness. Like when you notice something that somebody else is doing, you appreciate it. So you have this gratitude for like
Makes sense.
the things that are presented into you in your life, and they don't appear to be like, you know,
Yeah.
amazing and rosy, but you found amazingness and you kind of highlight those and adapt those into your life. I think these are the perseverance that we all need inside us, to
Yeah.
keep going, continue to do what we are meant to do here purposely, you know?
And to take it to new levels. And that's what I feel like you've done and you continue to do. You just keep going and you figured out a way to strive beyond. And one thing that really stood out, like you said on that Marcus, what's Marcus's last name? No, not the philosopher, but Marcus. Yeah, on that podcast was that you had cancer early on, and and you just were like, "No, did chemo and I went and ran and I started working out." I was just like, "What? This person is just like I already knew you're a beast, but you just keep going." And I would love to talk about that because I think a lot of people don't realize how powerful we are as individuals, right? And how we really can overcome it. It really is mind over matter, and we make the decision. I can't decide for you. Donna can't decide for me, but we can definitely inspire each other. And I think that your story is one that it definitely when I heard it, I was like, damn, no wonder, right? But you just continue to go and go and go. And so I don't know if you want to comment on some of that.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, and I did think about it all the time, but I forgot to mention at the Nonverbal podcast with Marcus is that during that time, my brother, my sister they were babies. They were 5 and 6 respectively, or 6 and 7. They were kids. They were little toddlers. Yeah, and toddlers. I'm sorry, and rather, and then I have a great relationship with them. I love them to them. So for me to be coming out of, going to radiation, no chemo, I did hardcore radiation therapies, like local radiation to my stomach. And so I will do radiation therapy from Monday to Friday, and then I will have, usually they give you the weekend off to kind of recoup. And during that time, the first 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of radiation therapy, um, I did it on my own with friends. They drove me to the clinic, and then they drove me back. Because the first 2 days, you're kind of okay, but the second day, you had to stop every stop sign to throw up. You cannot be driving, and especially it's very early in the morning usually. And so when my mother finally went into El Paso, Texas, that's where I was at the time, during my college career. Uh, she brought my brother and my sister to my apartment, and to this old house I used to rent there in El Paso. And the for me, having my mother and my brother, my sister there, that was a great push, because I was like, I cannot let, I want to see these guys grow up. I want to see what's up with them, this can be it. And also you having these mind battles constantly, man, how bad is this going to get? You don't know, I mean, you just go and hopefully the guys, the radiation therapy or your oncologists or your doctors are doing the right thing or whatever, So, so that's when I started getting into nutrition or see what's up. I always did martial arts. I always was into sports. If it wasn't basketball, it was something else, And so it was a no-brainer for me. Like, if I keep going this way, I think I'm gonna be okay. I knew, because once you get to that point, you're like, what did I do wrong to damage my body? That my body is asking, my body is going through this, exactly, because we don't, our bodies don't get to that just because, especially cancer, it's something going on. So during my college career, I didn't eat well. I didn't need sleep at all. You know, for 9 months I smoked like I was a chain smoker. I will smoke two packs a day. I never smoked in my life until those 9 months, not 9, 10 months. I did everything wrong. I was probably eat some Oreos and then go train and then go practice and then yeah, let's have a decent meal, quote unquote, and. So that's not the way. I mean, you think you can cope it because you're young, but eventually your body is gonna be like, dude, okay, come on, yeah. So that's what I'm getting at, So all those things go through your mind,
Well, we won't disclose how old you are, but I know I can say you're no young chicken, but you live like a young
You
chicken, which
look
is
like a
like very
young,
impressive, and you look like a
yeah,
young
man.
chicken.
Come
So
on.
like I'm impressed. Louise is impressed, and
Yep,
so sharing these
absolutely.
kind of stories, like we love for the younger audience to remember your body isn't going to
Yeah,
last if you don't take
no.
care of it, right? Learn it from like the older folks, right? Of like what we've gone through, what we overcame.
But we
And
go
in your
through
story, right, you're saying like, hey, I didn't take care of myself. I did
it.
all these things and took advantage of it. It sounds like you had a second chance. It sounds
Yeah.
like you went over this hill and go like, okay, there's life on the other side. What if you didn't go through all of that? Would you have ended up doing what you're doing now?
Good question. I don't know.
I don't need that's
I don't know.
wow.
Yeah. I don't. Well, yeah. Maybe so. Maybe so. I was being very driven, yet I'm. It. I'll tell you one thing. If I wouldn't gone through that, probably when I joined the band, the Mars Volta, our band, the Mars Volta, I probably wouldn't got into drugs. That's one thing. I'm sure I probably will feel myself invisible, a Superman, and start I don't know, doing things I shouldn't be doing, or probably drinking a lot, or probably doing this and that. But because I had that prior, yeah, that prepared me to say no to
So
that.
I want to ask you one question before we get into that chapter of your life. How, did you just stop? Because this has come up to me. I've been asked this because I used to smoke a lot. Like I smoked cigarettes when I was a teenager, right? And then I tried
So
to
cool.
stop, right? I tried to stop and I was like, I'm going to stop cold turkey. And then I stopped and then I started smoking again and I just could not stop until I started learning about yoga, meditation, acupuncture, and I've been on that path for decades, right? How did you stop smoking Like when you got your diagnosis and you started radiation, like when did you stop? How did you stop smoking? Because you're smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. That is a lot of nicotine. And people still ask, how do I stop smoking? How do I stop damaging myself, right? Is what we know. It's damage to yourself. They might not be thinking about that, but what would be, yeah, how did you do it?
Uh, I I think it's okay. It was fairly easy because I never smoked until very, I mean, older. You know, I was 23, 24 when I started smoking, and I only smoked heavily for like 9 or 10 months. So between okay, yeah, it's a lot of smoking in very short time, especially if you've never smoked in your life, you know. So I'm gonna tell you how it happened. Okay, on this spring summer, no, yeah, winter. I remember finishing on my recitals and yada yada yada. Went home for Christmas to Chihuahua, and then when I came during my time in Chihuahua, I didn't touch one cigarette. I didn't have to because I was with family. I was fine. I wasn't stressing. I wasn't yada yada etc etc etc. Um, and when I went back to my apartment in El Paso, opened my apartment door and it stunk like smokes and cigarette and everything was
Yeah, you're like,
disgusting.
yeah.
Yeah, so I open on the doors and windows. I clean everything. I even burn clothing and and I was like no more. And that's it. That was the last time I had
Got it.
somewhat relationship with the cigarette. But I think it was because it was very short time, which
Got it.
very small period of time. I mean, it was a
Got it.
lot of smoking, but that's it. You know.
So
But
jumping
drugs.
ahead,
Go ahead.
I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
so jumping ahead, when did you get the gig and how did you get the gig with Mars Volta? Like, talk about that. I got a couple of questions about that, but I'm gonna try to not go too music related. But I'm very curious how did that land? Because that's like a huge band, and you got a Grammy, you won a Grammy. Congratulations again. And that was like a crazy experimental band. So like, how did you do that? How did you pull that off?
Okay, the I my last 3 years in college, I was the musical director for Omar Rodriguez's dad's salsa band.
Got it. Yep.
I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah,
Omar
so
Rodriguez, yeah, from
his Omar Rodriguez, our
yeah,
guitar player, Omar Rodriguez.
Omar's.
His dad is a well-known songwriter and lyricist for a lot of the salsa acts in Puerto Rico and or other, I think he wrote lyrics for Rubén Blades and people like that, and he was very involved into like the Fania, crowd,
Right.
and that's how we met Lenny Castro. That's how we met,
That's right.
Larry Harlow from the
Amazing.
from the Spanish Harlem and this and that, because he was involved. So, anyways, I was playing baritone saxophone and flute and conducting his well, directing. I'm sorry, his salsa band. And then on one of the music festivals that I did with his dad, that's when I met Cedric and Omar,
Got it.
and then during that time I was going through therapy and through chemotherapy. I mean radiations rather, and and they asked me if I wanted to record for the Francis and Mute album. I said yes. They flew me to New York at the Avatar Studios. I'm sorry, on I think they're on 53rd Street. They're called something else now, but anyways, the studio's still there. And I showed up with my flute, my tenor. I recorded that night. They asked me if I wanted to join the band. That's it.
Amazing.
That is so
And
good. That's such a good story.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
2004. That was 2004. August of 2004. I moved. I was asked to move to Los Angeles. I moved. I sold every. Well, no, whatever I had in El Paso. I grab all my books, all my records.
So good.
You work with a lot of younger, right, musicians, and I'm sure they're looking at you like, that's my inspiration, right? I'm
Yeah.
aspiring to be, Adrián one day. Like, what do you talk to your guys? Do you like give them advice? Do
Like
you, I mean,
mentor.
not preachy, but like, do you
Yeah.
mentor them?
Mm, man, that's another great question. I try not to because I feel like a lot of the young people that I'm playing with. Okay, for instance, the my trio, which is Rodrigo Garcia and Alonso Sanchez, they're beautiful kids. They're 22 and 23 respectively. They are amazing musicians. They're gonna be even greater. And them too, I can probably be a little. I have a little more of a heavy hand on them because they bring great charts as well. They read their butts off. They're great musicians. They wanna explode. They wanna explore music in every way possible. Um, but I have other musicians where I had to learn to keep my mouth shut because I feel like it doesn't matter even if I try not to sound preachy at all, I feel like I'm doing it, or I feel like I should. You know what I use? I use, for instance, if I bring a new chart that is very challenging, maybe I will throw things at them, but this is probably music theory or things they should be looking at, or things of that nature. But as far as music career is concerned, I think I said enough by them knowing that, for instance, I don't drink at the gigs. For instance, I never tried coke in my life. I never done it. And man, that's the question about maybe probably been doing drugs if I didn't have going through this cancer battle. But because I never tried amphetamines or coke, or I don't know what it is like. I tried pot before. I didn't like it. Every now and then I microdose with shrooms and cacao, but that's about it. But I'm not a drinker. I don't like it. I mean, maybe a glass of wine, but rather not. I like eating a lot of meat. I like
How's
eating
your
a lot of
cholesterol? I'm just kidding.
barbacoa. Great. I love eating barbacoa. I love eating. Man, that thing goes right out as soon as I do a couple sessions of jiu-jitsu. I'll be talking about my age. We're talking about my age. Every time I do stuff like that, you know, um, I'm I'm completely aware that I'm 49 years old. Even though I feel super young, I look at the mirror and I'm like, okay, great job, yada yada yada. I know my limits.
The reason why I'm asking you this is because you must feel really young because it comes through, right? It comes through the energy, it comes through
Yep.
your music, it comes through your avant-garde style.
Yep.
And so, like, if I was a musician, I would look at you and go, like, what the heck is his secret?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And knowing that, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you disclose your age to your band members or, like, wherever you go. And then also seeing there is a commonality with, like, not over abusing, like, the drugs, alcohol, like the lack of sleep, another, like, really big contributor. So I think, there's a couple of things that you, like, touched on, like your mindset, right? Like, I'm just gonna do. And when I don't want to do, I'm gonna dig deep and figure out how to
How?
do it, and
Yep.
I'm gonna do. And then the second is you live a really fun, exciting life, not doing the things that people think is exciting as drugs and alcohol.
No, it's
You're
very
like,
clean.
yeah,
Very
you
clean,
found
yeah.
your creative.
Yeah.
And I think for us, it's like creative can be anything. It can be like me writing all day or me staring at the wall all day, but it's like that one thing that you do that you always want to do, and it doesn't feel like time ever passes, right? We all have some
Agree.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
wanted
Sorry.
to
Sorry.
understand more, like what
Yeah.
else is all of that? Like what is all, what else do you find inspiration in? Because right now we're like, wow, he must be maxed out, but you're not. You're
Yeah.
not at all maxed out. There's
Yeah.
so much more, right? What's all the
See, yeah, 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 of course. You know what? I have one of the things is I have so many projects like on the back burner that I really want to get through and yada yada, and yeah, that helps a lot. But if I'm really thinking about it, now that you mention it, I think the first thing that comes to mind is my colleagues and my friends. Like, well, one of the things that I really enjoy doing when I start a project is to ask my musicians, or if I'm involved in something, to actually have all the musicians involved right for the ensemble. What I wanna know what's the drummer writing, what's he's working on, what's his interest. Like for instance, I work with this drummer, competes cross bikes, like like motocross bikes, like and flying through pine trees and this and that. That's one of his things, and I went to see him compete a few months back, and actually see his life outside of the drum set, and that really gets me into and motivated of doing things and staying alive with what people are doing, because I've I'm more interested of what's going on with the people that I really enjoying to play with, and sometimes it's really a bomb, like a downfall every time I see a great musician that has a lot of potential that is not doing something outside of music. It can be something simple as probably playing chess, or maybe writing or drawing, or going to a cafe to read a book or study something else, or being with family, or I don't know, it can be millions of things. But the thing is, um, okay, I give an example. I I really, really, really into what I hear Wayne Shorter say once. You cannot create anything artistically, or in science or whatever, any abstraction, if you don't have stories to tell. You need to figure out what story you need to tell, or what stories moves you, or I don't know. You have to have images of things that you can gravitate or create from. If you don't have that, you don't have nothing to say, man.
yeah, it's a little flat if you're
It's super
But it's
flat,
safe.
man.
If,
Yeah,
if it's safe, yeah.
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 Um,
So yeah, go ahead.
I will say, okay, I have a question I want to ask you specifically for, I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time. So I know, you're
Hang
not in
tight.
trouble. You're not in trouble. But there's like, I know you lived in the States and you went to school in the States. I know you lived in LA, you worked in New York, but it's like Mexico seems to be your home. You're from Mexico. I love Mexico because it's one of the few places that that I see people are able to imagine. It's a very creative place. I'm talking like from everything: music, food, art, dance, architecture, you name it, right? And I'm just curious, like, what's your take on that? Like, would you live in the States if you could? Would you want to? Does it matter? Do you know what I'm trying to get at? Do you like,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Mexico, a
yeah.
place of
I mean,
inspiration?
yeah. I love Mexico. Okay, two quick answers. One of the reasons that then I'm gravitating right now to Mexico is because of the education portion of my life. I'm really, really, really want to create a saxophone and woodwind culture in Mexico. You know, in the academic world. You know, I really want to preach what Dr. Wilkinson taught me, and I really want I keep that going. And um, the academic world in and the woodwind playing in Mexico, especially for clarinet and saxophone, is hurting big time. It's great players, but they don't have a place that they can actually do the academic work. It's not a community. Everybody's competing against each other. You know, is not coherent. You know, it's not like when we used to live in Los Angeles. When I used to live in Los Angeles, that I can call Javier and be like, hey, what are you working on? Let's get together. Or I can go with Katis and do some and play flute duets for 4 hours or see what he's working on. It was like I don't know how many times Kamasi and I used to do the jam sections with Artem Manukin. Do you remember Artem? You know, cellist. You know, Artem used to love having Kamasi and myself always as horn players, and it was always great vibes, man. In a community of horn players, you know, especially woodwind players. We don't have that in here, man. Everybody is, you know, killing each other, like literally. Like it's not. I understand that everybody needs to work, but come on, man. I mean, it's not healthy, you know, to talk bad about other players or to no, because you know. But part of it is because the academic world, especially saxophone playing and clarinet playing, is not. They don't have a community well established at the universities, at the colleges, you know, yada yada yada, you know, and that's one of it. That's it. That's it. That's what I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying, you know. Period. You know. And then second of all, and yeah, I would love to be in Austin most of the time, most of the year. You know, at the apartment, yada yada yada. But but it's always a struggle with my working visa or my this and that. You know, because I since I work for Universal for I mean, I worked for the Volta straight out of college. You know, I went from being a student visa to boom to a no one and or a permanent working visa and paying taxes. You know, and actually paying a lot of taxes actually. You know, because I came from I came yeah literally I came from earning maybe $100 $200 a gig, you know, to understand to exactly to actually making weekly money, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much. I don't know if I answered the question. That's pretty
It
much
is.
what. Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
feel like I'm just okay? So straight up, do you feel like Mexico? Am I wrong? Am I making it? Am I romanticizing it? Am I living in that world of whatever, being a romantic that I am? That I'm a dreamer by saying that Mexico is a place of other dreamers and imagination. What's your take on that? Like that's how I feel when I. That's the energy that hits me when I walk around Mexico and Mexico City even more so, but like Mexico, like really, Mexico is amazing. Veracruz is amazing. Chiapas is amazing, right? The northern part, I don't know so much about. I've been through it. I don't, but my point is that there's so much just like, wow, that is amazing. You see things there that's like, I haven't really seen in other parts of the world. So that's my take. What's yours?
No, it is true. You should come to Guadalajara. I think Guadalajara and is more so for more creative avant-garde art and classical playing more so than Mexico City. But Mexico City has the energy, and you're right. Mexico, like I told everybody, then goes to Mexico City for the first time. It's a lot of fucking energy.
Yeah,
A
it is, right?
lot.
Right?
A lot of
Right?
energy. It's
It
like
is.
in your face. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Right.
New York does not. I mean, I love New York, but New
Yeah.
York doesn't have the energy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of energy. But
Yeah.
first of all, Mexico City is bigger than New York. But
Yeah.
you have a lot of cultures, but the people in Mexico City, it's a lot of energy. But you gotta be careful because when
Right.
you get a lot of energy, you have to give it back.
Right.
Become prepared.
I
Yeah.
mean, I will, I will say, I will say that one of the coolest places I went to recently in my life was with Donna. She took me to took me to Vietnam, and we went to Ho Chi Minh City, which is different. The energy was so, yeah. There's a lot happening, a lot of people, probably like 9 million, I think, in Ho Chi Minh. So it's like New York, but you don't feel the way that you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Like in Mexico City, it's like give and take. Like, it's just like it's a different flow. There, it was like the sine wave. It was like so much more just like this flow. It's mellower. That was my experience.
There's a commonality though, yeah, between Mexico and Vietnam. Like culturally, we're very family oriented. So like, eating together, getting together, being together, finding time together
That's
is like
right.
that's
Yeah.
like the priority.
Right.
And I think I love that, personally, and that's why I found
Yeah.
Mexico to be like, okay, I
Yeah.
feel connected. But the avant-garde, like the music scene and the art scene,
Right.
the food scene, we're up there with the food
Yeah.
scene for sure, but the art scene is still kind
So
of,
it's
yeah.
not. It's different. Yeah.
But I just appreciate people doing stuff, right? Just doing shit every single
All
day
the
and just
time.
go for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know that we have those things in common for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I love Vietnamese food. I mean, I know that probably the Vietnamese food in Burbank, in California, is obviously not the same thing because I've never been to
Yeah.
Vietnam. But
Vietnam.
but especially Javier from Animals as Leaders and Tram,
Yeah.
we used to love to go to North Hollywood, there to the
Nice.
Burbank area, to where Little Vietnam is. Man, woo,
Right.
man.
We have been dreaming
My
and
gosh.
Yes.
daydreaming about bringing Vietnamese food to Mexico
Mexico
City.
City. Yeah.
Let's
So-
go. Let's go.
we're gonna hit
Let's
you up,
go.
Adrian. You
Let's
think you're a really
go.
good food player?
Right.
Just wait. Just wait till Banh Mi arrives. We're gonna have you making sandwiches.
Dude, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Man,
Anyway,
yeah, man.
anyway.
That's one thing. What I told people, if yeah, when you go to a new spot, you have always I mean, you perceive the interaction, the culture, like right away in your face. You don't know what it is. You don't know how to absorb it just yet. It's just coming at you like crazy because you don't know what's on the street signs. You don't know to read anything. Usually, you know, especially if you go to Asia. I know Japan well. I've been to Shanghai. That's another place. Shanghai is another spot in China where it's like Shanghai is like the New York of China. It's a lot of people. But that's another thing. If you ask me, I will say that Shanghai has non-stop energy. And but that's probably because I don't know how to absorb that energy because I've never been there. You know, probably if I'll live there for a year, I'll be tired. You know, and some people then go there and love it. You know, but I don't know. I don't know. I just been there
Yeah.
to play. I love it. I love the food. I love the people, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
You know.
I feel like you have nonstop energy. That's one thing I noticed about you. You have so much energy. I'm like, where do you get all of that? Maybe it's MMA. Maybe that's the secret sauce. I don't know, but you just have a lot to bring. And so I think that's why you're here in the world, and you found that. And so thank you. You know,
Thank
thanks
you.
for bringing that. Thanks for sharing that with us. And
Yeah.
hopefully people will get something out of this. You know, we really do respect where you're coming from and how you are so resilient, but you don't even consider yourself like a resilient, but you just do shit. You know, you just go. And so like, I think that's part of it. It's just like, we don't have to label ourselves at all. We just are who we are now, you know? And, I just want to share that, you know, that's one observation I've noticed about you for years. I've known you for, yeah, man, for sure. So, I don't know
Thank
if,
you.
yeah, I don't know if you have any other questions or not. We don't want to beat people up with like a super long episode. We want to keep it really short so they can watch it. But I would love to revisit at later on, come back and like talk music. You know what I mean? And like really get deep on music. But I think right now it's more about mindset and really about like, you know, finding the inner power. And thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
No, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
and it's always super nice to see you both. Man. Yeah, man.
Thank you. We'll have
Yeah,
to do
man.
it in person soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're working on
please,
it. We're
please,
working on it.
please.
Yeah, we're working on a little something for Mexico City.
Okay.
We will let you know.
October.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah. Oh, you know what, Luis? In August 16, I play with here in Mexico Al Cinco. I play with DJ Logic.
Oh,
With
nice.
DJ Logic. He's
Nice.
from Marcus Miller and
Nice.
Kirby Hancock. Yeah,
Yep.
man. He's a good. He's one of the first guys I met
Nice.
in LA. In LA. I
Yep.
mean, I know he lives in the East Coast, but he used to go all the time there because of Oscar Cartaya, Marcus
Yep.
Miller, and all those
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
But it was, guys, thank you so much, man. I
Thank
hope to see you
you.
guys
Thank you
in
so much.
person and get some food. Let's get some food together.
Yeah.
We will.
See you soon.
All right, Adrián.
See you
Take
soon.
care, man.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye,
Bye.
guys.